Good morning, boys and girls of the internet. Here we are back with our $1,000 Chevrolet Cruze. Little Ecotech motor has been plugging along. No major complaints. We were over in Whittier, North Carolina with it a few weeks ago. It was in a video on the car itself. Then about 2 weeks ago, drove it down to Atlanta, Georgia. We were down there for a convention. Came back. Once again, no issues with the car. Sailed on down there and sailed back. So we have another trip coming up. We've got some stuff we're going to do, and we're headed to Illinois. And I think instead of taking the Grand Cherokee that will get 17 miles a gallon, we're going to take this little Chevy Cruze that'll get 27 miles a gallon. Also, this car is really comfortable to ride in and drive. Not that the Jeep is not, but it's big and it's lifted and it's on big old chunky tires, and it's got really dark window tint on it. I can't see that good at night. And it's got the dark tint strip on it. And this thing is a fishbowl, and I like that. So, one thing I want to do before we drive it that far, everything else seems to be okay on the car, knock on wood. The timing belt. I have no service history of this timing belt being changed anywhere. You're supposed to change them about every 100,000 or so, maybe even a little bit before that, depending on the car and what the manufacturer recommends. So what I've done is jumped online and I've ordered the cam holder kit. It's like a tool that locks the camshafts in so they can't move, and a new timing belt. I already put a water pump on it a while back, so we're not going to use that portion of the kit. We're just going to be changing the belt and the two idler pulleys. So I'm going to start tearing stuff apart so we can do that. We have removed the air box off the side of the engine, and you want to put a jack underneath it with a block of wood and kind of rest it up against the oil pan. Make sure you use a block of wood so you don't go crushing the oil pan, because you want to support this engine. So engine, I'm proud of you. You're doing a good job. You're loved. You are valued. I support all of your decisions, and I think you're going to go far in life. But most importantly, I'm just proud of you. And anyway, now that you've supported your engine, you can come over here and start loosening all these bolts. So I grabbed one of these with a dead battery, and then I went and got a charged battery. And you're going to need a 14. Then you're going to need a 15, and you can start popping these loose. You see it kind of wiggle there for a second? See that? That's why you have to put the jack under the engine. And you got to support your engine. So let's get this motor mount off. The engine mount removed. I also went ahead and removed the serpentine belt tensioner. It is a inverted Torx. And it bolts up in there. No, bolts right there in that. And I'm going to replace that belt tensioner anyway because it's making a noise when you cut the air on. So the spring in it is just weak, so we'll replace the tensioner and the belt while we're in here. That way so it doesn't go anymore when you cut the air on. Now we're going to go ahead and pull this upper timing cover, which has some inverted Torx right in there. I don't know what size those are yet. I'll figure it out and let you know. With the harmonic balancer removed and all the timing covers pulled off, we have our marks lined up here. They look a little bit off. That's just how they work. And then the lower one down here on the crankshaft, it's pointed in the right direction. The key's on there, or the washer, so you can't see it. But I will pull that back off in a second to verify we are in the correct spot. Now you pull the valve cover off because I have a cam lock tool. Looks like this, and this goes right here and slides into right there on the back of the intake cam, and right there on the back of the exhaust cam. So now those are held into place, so that's good. Let's keep going. We have installed our tools. Our cam lock is in. I mentioned it earlier. Down here you remove that 15mm bolt below the oil filter, and the little metal, it's like an L shape, goes over it, and the bolt goes back in it. That holds the crankshaft. And over here between the cam gears, we have this piece, which I think I already showed it too. I'm getting scatterbrained. Blood sugar's getting low, I need some lunch. So then you take you an Allen wrench, you put it in this tensioner, push it down, and that'll pull the tension off the belt so that you can slip it off. We're gonna be changing these pulleys too though, so we're gonna take the belt off and then we will remove the tensioners. We have replaced our bottom tensioner down there. I'm working on, the idler. We're working on replacing the tensioner now. Here's our old one. You can see the dust and dirt coming out of it. And here's our old idler pulley that you can see was starting to sling the grease out of the packing, so that's a good indicator that it was on its way out. They tell you that these bolts that hold these tensioners in are aluminum. Hold on. Bless me. Thank you. And thank you too. Thank you. And anyway, so they tell you that these bolts are aluminum and that you have to replace them when you do the timing kit in it. I don't know if this thing has already had a timing kit put in it and I was just wrong, but aluminum doesn't stick to a magnet, and it could be maybe some kind of aluminum core. However, it's clearly magnetized. Also, they sent me only one new bolt, even though they tell you that you're supposed to replace both of them, because they supplied both the pulleys. But the new bolt they give me leaves the inverted Torx, or the Torx itself, and goes to an Allen, and it is also longer than my original bolt. So I'm just gonna go out on a limb here and reuse my original hardware, since they're not aluminum bolts. They say that they stretch, but you know what? If it just gets us to Illinois and back, we'll be okay. So let's install our new tensioner. Dad's gone to pick up the last of my parts. I needed to get a valve cover gasket, a new serpentine belt, and tensioner, because it was making that brrrt noise we talked about before. You've already heard me make the sound. You don't want to hear me make it again. And the valve cover, because these two cylinders here are full of engine oil where the grommet was leaking. So he's gone to get that. I have removed all of our locks, the one here, the one on the flywheel down there, in the rear lock bar here. Our lines still look good. It's motor oil on my finger. Everything looks good underneath here. So I think we are safe to button this engine back up. All I can really do is put the timing covers back on and the home on a balancer, because I'm waiting on Dad to show up with the belt and the tensioner. And I can't put the valve cover gasket back on until Dad shows up with the valve cover gasket. And I can't put the engine mount on. I guess I could, but it would be easier to do it last, so that I have access to the belt tensioner area. So anyway, that's where we're at with this conglomeration. So now we wait. So everything's all hooked back up. I just plugged the coil pack in. And you give a little prayer. Ooh. Listen for any weird noises, other than the rattly little Ecotech that it is. Why is the fan on already? Oh, the AC's on. I was like, why? Why fan? Been running about 15 minutes now. Temperature's good. Nothing going on there. Everything says normal. I'm not getting any crazy nothing. Air's blowing cold. I think we can call this one a success. We have earned our beer tonight, folks. I'll let it spin around a little bit longer and then pick up all my crap. We gotta put the wheel back on. Well, the last trial for the Cruze is the drive home. So let's drive it home. See how it does. I brought the scanner with me just so we can monitor everything, make sure it goes smoothly. So, yep. just like that, the Chevy Cruze is home. Everything's okay. No warning lights came on. The car drove great. I think we're gonna be just fine. So all that's left to do now is I'm gonna go and have it detailed really nice. We might change the oil in it again. We're not due yet, I don't know. But we're going 1,300 miles. Maybe we'll film that. Let me know if you think our $1,000 Chevy Cruze is gonna make it. But anyway, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Folks, thank you all for watching. And now we can move on. Take a Ford to work. Fix a Ford. It's always a Ford, isn't it? Catch you in the next one, guys.